Cell phone charger back there if you need one.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Do anything fun in the city today?
No, I'm just gonna go home and sit on the couch. That's the plan.
Ah, the city's home. Here was fun.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, it was.
Cool. What was happening in this part of town today?
Mostly last night. My parents live over here. They had their block party last night.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, a lot of the older kids that grew up, we come back for the block party, kind of little reunion type situation. So that was fun.
Sure. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. So it's like everybody from the neighborhood. It's like something your neighborhood does.
Yeah, exactly. Usually towards the end of the summer. But yeah,
sure.
It's nice. It's nice.
That is pretty cool. So you grew up out here then?
Yes, I did.
Nice. How's the root beer at this place?
I haven't been here in a while, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's good. I used to come here a lot. The best thing they have is they have these, like those swirled ice cream cones.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
those,
the soft serve.
Yeah, I got the soft serve.
Okay.
Those are really good.
Nice.
I think it's changed hands a few times, but
Sure. Okay. But that's the spot. All right. If I'm ever out here, I'm gonna have to remember that.
yeah, if you need some soft serve, that's definitely the place
That's
to go.
the one. Yeah, I think I've seen a Hamburger Heaven a little more like closer to Chicago at one of the Burbs. So I wonder if there's more than one because I didn't know they have one out here. So that's cool.
Yeah, that one's been there for a long time. Long time.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not sure if they put up a new one, but yeah, that place is like it's like a staple.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I love a good like hamburger stand, especially if like they make their own root beer. That's something I love. Yeah, that seems really cool.
Probably have great root beer floats there too.
One would hope so.
I love a good root beer float.
Yeah. Or I like if you can get them to like mix the ice cream with the root beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brown cow root beer float.
Oh yeah. That's really good.
That's what
I haven't had a root beer float in ages.
Yeah, right. There's so many calories. You're just like, it's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a diet killer where it's like, you know what? It starts on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. You can't eat like a young man anymore, you know?
No.
Just like eating McDonald's and just go get a root beer float,
Yeah, that's very true.
Catches up with you a lot quicker.
Yeah, you're just like, I don't have this resilience anymore.
No, definitely not.
Yep, and you feel it.
Metabolism is going to shit.
Right? And just like food that you used to love, now you're just like, oh man, I had like ice cream and a hamburger and I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I pig out. I'm just like, oh, why did I do that? It's like, that's so delicious at the time, but man, that was a mistake.
Yep, exactly. You're going to regret it later. Yeah, I find myself in my late 30s, I'm eating a lot more salad than I used to.
Yeah.
And it's just because I'm just like, I don't want to deal with all of the unpleasantness that's going to come with eating anything else.
Most definitely. Yeah, I get acid reflux now sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I used to love pepperoni pizza, but I can't eat it anymore. It destroys me.
Really?
I can't do it.
That's rough, yeah.
Same thing with jardinera. I gotta be careful with that too. It's just
spicy, right? Exactly. Yeah, it just comes back on you. You don't expect it to. That's the worst part of getting old. They don't mention that.
Yeah, they don't.
Spicy food while you can, because you're not going to be able to later.
Yeah, because my dad has pretty bad acid reflux. He told me, he's like, hey, you're probably gonna get it too. Because I'd always think, all right, we're getting pizza. What do you want? My pepperoni. He's like,
sure.
He's like, I can't eat that. I'm like, come on, like, let's get sausage or something. It's like, all right, fine. I'm like, why can't you eat it? He's like, I get heartburn really bad. I'm like, you old man. I'm like, whatever. And then, sure enough, someone orders pepperoni pizza. I'm like, God damn it.
Man, really? I don't have to pick these off, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. And he knew. He's like, say it now. It's coming for you.
Exactly.
Get ready.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how that goes. Do you have other siblings you grew up with, or just you?
Just one older sister.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
And she's got the acid reflux. It runs in the family.
That's it. It's hereditary.
Thanks, Dad.
No escape.
But yeah, just one older sister. She's 3 years older than me.
Okay, not bad. She here and local too, or?
Yes, she still lives in Elmhurst over there.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, keep the family together.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. That's the thing. I've thought about moving. It's just, my parents are getting older. It's like, I kind of want to be around. So.
Right. Yeah. Winter's gonna get harder as they get older.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you're in the city. That's like one of those things. The burbs to the city. It's like it's enough of a hassle. They have to think twice about coming out.
Yeah.
You get your own space. You get your own time.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and when I went away to college too, I went to school out in Iowa, and it was like 3 hours away. So it was like perfect. It was like I could come home whenever I needed to, and they could come out and visit. Instead of huge hassle, it's just a 3-hour drive.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that makes sense. What'd you study?
I studied business.
Business, okay. I was just talking to somebody where she's like, I'm going to do that because you could do anything with it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So what do you do for work now?
I mean, I was working for a mortgage company for a while, and I kind of got tired of it. I was like, I need a break. Then I went back to, I bartended in college, so I started bartending. I actually just left work. So now I run the bar over there, and I'm like, it was going to be a temporary thing, and I'm like, almost a year later, I'm still there, and I'm just like,
sure.
But I like working there a lot. It's a good company to work for. They offer full benefits, 401k, PTO, all that good stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, not going to be a forever thing, but I'm comfortable for right now.
Sure. I actually really like that. I was talking to somebody yesterday where she owns a Harold's Chicken, and she's going to open a bar so that she can bartend. And she's already got a license. And I was actually looking into doing that before COVID because it's a social thing.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And that's what I like about it. You talk with people, you chat. I'm a comedian, so like I feel like the hours work pretty well. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll look into it. But I ended up settling with this, make good money doing this. Plus, talk to people from all over, which is really interesting.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially in the Chicagoland area. There's so many people visiting, and the airport's right over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I live in Edgewater, so I'm like right there north of the city, and it's great. You just started, I'm like right by the college, so you talk to a college student.
Yeah.
Go to the airport and then drive around town, and like you said, there's people visiting from all over.
Yeah,
all
most
the time.
definitely.
Yeah, so it's great. A lot of great conversation.
Yeah, it's kind of like I didn't really expect to working up there. I didn't expect to meet so many people from different areas. I figured it's mostly people from Illinois, but there's a lot of people that stop in that are just visiting town. Like I had this old lady from California the other day, visiting her old friends. A lot of people from Texas down south.
Sure.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising being that out there. You wouldn't expect it, but yeah, I guess there are probably people visiting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, big part of it, I'd say. From you get to hop on the metro over there. That train station's right there.
Yeah.
It takes you right into the loop, so it's very accessible.
That's true. Yeah, the metro system can be so great, in this surrounding area. And you can drink, have a couple of drinks, hang out, go. Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, you can pretty much get out. You can get out to most of the suburbs you want to go to, or at least get close. Yep.
And
typically they drop off right in a good area, right where you want to be anyway. So. Yeah, it's really nice. That's one of the really nice things about Chicago and the outlying area. Because sometimes the traffic, you're just like, oh man.
It can be brutal.
Yeah,
especially with all the construction they're doing now.
Yeah. They've been working on 294 for God knows how long at this point.
This is never gonna stop.
No.
You know what they say in Chicago? There's actually only 2 seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how it's going.
Well, it's funny. I had heard that phrase, and then when I was out in Iowa, because I went to the University of Iowa, so everyone slept. The Hawkeyes are so there's in that town, it's just the school. So it's football's like church on Saturday. It's everybody's out and about. And I heard instead of there's 2 seasons, construction season and winter summertime. It's like there's 2 seasons in Iowa. It's football season and construction season. So they just try to get everything done before all the influx of people, and then as soon as it's over, like, all right, time to start on the next one. You know?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Construction and football season.
Yeah.
Nice. So were you just in Iowa for school and then that's it?
Yeah. I was out there. Yeah, I left in 2019 or 2020. Yeah, so like right at the start of the pandemic, is because I still had a lease out there, so you know, I was kind of hanging out. But yeah, because I had like a studio apartment out there. It was like a nice apartment. So I was like, you know, get my money's worth here.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the pandemic happened. I was like, I gotta get out of here. Just sitting in my studio apartment by myself, just bouncing off the walls. I'm just like, all right, I gotta get out of here. Like, and that's when I ended up moving back. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you were fairly recently working in mortgage and then switching.
I was in there. Yeah, so for about 2.5 years, because I started during early pandemic. You know, kind of working from home, doing the whole thing, which was awesome. That was not what I was expecting. You know, like kind of work from home really wasn't a thing, and then it's just I was like, oh, this is sweet. Like,
I don't need to put on pants. It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are definitely drawbacks to it. You know, I mean, it's hard to separate, like, you know, work from. It's nice to come back like, all right, like my work's not here. My work's at the office. You know.
Yes. Yeah. That's what somebody said. They said, you know, with working from home, the question is are you working from home or are you living at work?
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's where you have to be able to separate.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I was really lucky. So like when I'm not doing this, I work in tech 9 to 5, and I've been working from home since 2017.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like I was like, all right, I'm already gen.
Yeah, you're used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I have my workspace, and it's like I don't go in there unless I'm working.
Yeah, so. That's definitely. I feel like that's the way to do it. It was kind of the same way for me, like, because I moved back to my parents' house, and I was like, so that's where I was working. I was like, set up in my old bedroom, but it was like only thing I do in here is just work. Like I don't want to hang out in here. It's just like, you're just looking at your work monitor. You're like, damn,
right?
I gotta go back to work in the morning. It's
exactly.
Like,
you're trying to hang out and thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, my roommate works from home right now. He's in marketing.
Okay.
And his Wi-Fi is in he was working in his office, but the Wi-Fi wasn't really good. So he's like basically just like working out of the living room now, because, you know, we got like, you know, a nice desk and a monitor out there. So I'm like, damn, like you just go from work right there to like the couch. Like I don't know if I would like that. It's like 2 feet away. Like
5-minute commute.
Like
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, because see, then it's like there you are. Your living room is your working room.
Yeah, exactly.
You're tied to it. Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up transitioning to, like, you know, hybrid. So I was like in office like once or twice a week, which was it was nice. It was like, all right, breaks up the week a little bit.
Right.
You know, I typically went like Wednesday and Thursday. So like once I got that Thursday, I was like, all right, it's Friday.
Nice. There you go. That's it. What part of town were they in?
They're in Rosemont over there.
Oh yeah. Okay,
yeah. It works for Wintrust.
Wintrust. Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So yeah, they got like a bunch of office buildings over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing that sucked about it was the commute home. It was just like, I mean, it was close too, but it was like, you know, I couldn't imagine having to commute like an hour plus. Like, luckily it was just close, and, you know, take like, if it was really bad, like maybe 40 minutes tops, which is not terrible, but.
Yeah, that whole area. There's always places that are like, hey, come do IT over here. Like, we work at the airport. It's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That's an hour. That's not happening.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. I mean, yeah, it's just being stuck in like traffic just takes it out of you, you know? Like,
yeah. Right? And if that's how you're starting your day, like, you're already drained by the time you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I love. Is one of the jokes I had was, you know, the thing I love about working from home is I can be scheduled to work at 9, wake up at 9:05, and still be on time.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that a few times.
Yeah.
It's like, a couple of times, like, slow morning, like I just go, you know, clock in really quick. It's like, all right, get my Teams open, you know, get my emails. And I'm like, all right, time to go make coffee and hang out for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man, I was the king of that, and like, because you know your Skype will go dead.
Yeah.
You can get on Amazon. There's a little USB mouse clicker.
No,
You just plug it in, push a button, and it just does this with your mouse.
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
that thing is a money maker for me. Yeah, it was great. Because when the pandemic happened, I work in tech, and places were like, we need to go remote. We need people to set it up.
Yeah.
And so I would get hired for projects to set it up. So I
Uh-huh.
was doing like 3 or 4 jobs at a time.
Oh, wow.
So I would just have 4 laptops, all with the clickers, and just set something up, go to the next one, set. And it was, I mean, it was nice, but it's stressful, but nice. Like,
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Everyone else is trying to figure out their transition. You're like, oh man, we're going to be a busy one again today.
Exactly.
So how long have you been doing comedy for?
Ooh, so I did start in 2018. I took off all of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I didn't want to get COVID. I have a daughter, that's why I'm out here. I didn't want to get her COVID, but she gave me COVID 4 times though.
Oh.
So now I just started again in February.
Nice.
Yeah, so like that's what do stand up. I do that. I have a show on YouTube that I do also, and so like between those, like those are kind of the things that I'm doing for the most part.
Definitely.
And I started the show again in February, and then like I haven't done stand up since 2018, no 2019, but I've got like a couple of like sets and stuff written down. You know, I test jokes out on people, so we're going, okay, these get a laugh, so we're gonna try these out. So hopefully to get started doing stand up again during the week.
Nice. Yeah, just kind of going around to open mics and stuff, just trying stuff out.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. So you just find places that'll give you 5 minutes, and you write down a couple of jokes. And until eventually you get laughs.
Most definitely. Yeah, one of my good buddies, he was doing comedy a while actually before I met him, but same thing, you know, pandemic hit, and it just kind of threw it off the rails. He's like, it sucks because like I finally felt like I was getting comfortable doing it, and like I was pretty consistently like, you know, not bombing, getting laughs, and it was like, he was like, I felt really good about it, and then in the whole thing, and he's just like, I'm not sure if he's gonna get back into it or not, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, just think about it, like, could I do it? Nah, I'm like, I don't know, probably not, because I was actually I was at a bar last weekend. Or no, it was last Wednesday. One of my friends was in town, and they shut this curtain. I'm like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, it's open mic night. I'm like, so I sat in there for a few minutes. I'm like, man, like, I mean, it was only like 10, 15 people in there, but I'd be so nervous. Like, oh my God.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, honestly, nothing makes you feel more like you could do stand-up like than watching an open mic.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I did too. I just went and I watched it a couple of times, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
And I put my name in, and you just go and, you know, see if you get a laugh. And honestly, you're so nervous, you don't even think about the crowd the first time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so it's doable. And, you know, the only difference between a stand-up comedian and a regular everyday person is that stand-up comedians write down their jokes, the stuff they think of. You just write it down.
Most definitely.
And try it again. That's it. That's comedy. That's the intent.
Most definitely, yeah. Because one of my buddies wants to do it. He's like, I really feel like I can do it. Because he was with us when we were at the open mic. We're like, come on, dude, just like, because he's like, I have like 3 jokes written down, and I think they're good jokes, but like, I'm like, I don't think I'm ready right now. And we're all like, come on, dude, go up and do it. He's like, no, I don't want to do it. He's like, I don't want you guys here like while I'm doing it. Like, like, he's like, I just want it to be complete strangers, and we'll go from there.
I get you. Yeah, see that then it sounds like if he's like, I have 3 that I know are good, he either is thinking about it, or he's like, these are the 3, these are my 3, and that's all. And the whole idea is you throw them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're holding on to 3 jokes, get rid of them. Just write 3 more.
Yeah, most definitely.
You have to be it that way with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you should always be, I guess, makes sense of like just always writing, you know, more stuff. Exactly. You know, especially when you start. I mean, obviously, I mean, because I do listen to like a lot of comedians on their podcasts. Like I'm a big fan of like Bill Burr, and like he talks about it a lot. But he's like, it's like, I guess like when he goes on tour, everything, he's like building an hour, you know, because I mean, you know, he's at that point where he's like, I'm just building up to like my next special or whatever. But I mean, I guess when you're starting out, probably the best thing is just keep writing. Just keep writing. Yep, just write the jokes, try them out. Write the jokes, try them out.
That's really it. That's the way to do it. Yeah, Bill Burr is hilarious. Yeah, I saw his recent one on like Red Rock special, which was so good.
Yeah, my favorite of his is the black and white one that he did like probably like 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That one I really liked. But you know, I started listening to him when I was probably like 15 years old. I'm 26 now.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny to like just to see like how he's, you know, progressed. It's like, because I used to listen to his podcast, like I don't really listen to it as much anymore, but like you can tell just like how much he's just like grown up and just like calmed down. Like it's very funny. He's just a family guy now. He's always talking about his kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you see some like comments on it's like, oh, I miss the old Bill Burr. It's like I wanted him to like have all these problems and everything all the time. It's like you should be happy for the guy. Like
no, that's true. That's what his last special was about. He's talking about like going to therapy and taking mushrooms.
Yeah,
so, you know, he's like, that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
so he's calmed way down, which is But you're right. That's how he started. He was angry. He was quick. He was, you know, that was like what put him on the map. Is he was in, I think, Boston, and people were like giving him a rough time. Or there was another comedian before him that they gave a rough time to, and he just came out and just tore them.
Oh, I know what you're talking. I think it was like in Philly or something, because he was talking about Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, and he just tore him out, and that's what made him famous. Because he was just like letting him have it. And so that's the Bill Burr that everybody really knew.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then he did that with F is for Family show, which is hilarious. Yeah, but that's what happens when you get money. You go to therapy, and then you're like maybe not so angry anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you start working on yourself a little bit, you know, as everybody should. You know, it's like you can't. It's like, listen, I understand you may not think he's as funny anymore, but he's growing. He's, you know, he's a better person. He's in a better place.
Yeah, and see, you know, and that's, I think what's great about that is that's kind of how it is with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be that, like, rambunctious 20-year-old, rambunctious even in your 30s. But once you hit the mid-30s, you've got kids, you got a bad back, you're calmed down. You're not here to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I remember how I was in my 20s. Like, I'd fight somebody over some stuff. Like, you know, it would happen. But now I'm 38, I got a kid. Like, I don't need that. I just don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm a totally different guy nowadays. It just depends. You know, it's all about growth, I guess.
Most definitely.
And maybe some mushrooms might help.
Some mushrooms help. They do help. But it's funny. It's like, you know, in your 20s, you know, you fight somebody at a bar or something. It's like, I got into one bar fight in my life, and I broke my hand. And I was like 20, I think, and I was like just walking home. It's like, oh, my hand hurts, and I'm just like, woke up the next morning, you know, hangover. I gotta go to the doctor and get this hand set. I'm just like, all right, well, that's the last fight I'll have, unless it's like absolutely necessary.
Exactly.
Like,
Life
all
or
right.
death only. That's it.
Yeah.
No, because you're right. Because like, dude, they just break. They just do.
Yeah.
It's absurd. Like, for considering how often like you think people punch each other in the face.
Yeah.
You would think they would be harder than they are, but they're not. No, they break all the time. If you're not wearing pads, it's just not.
No.
They bust.
It was funny. It was like after I got the cast off, like I had like this brace on. Like it was like the one finger, and this lady, like she saw me like on the street, and she pointed at my hand. She's like, "Who'd you punch?" I'm like, "How did you know that?" She's like, "I'm a nurse. I've seen that." She was in a college town too. She's like, "I've seen that plenty." It's like, "Who'd you punch?" I'm like, "Did you punch a wall? Did you punch somebody?" I was like, called me out.
That's funny. Yeah, because nurses know. They see it all and they can spot it quick.
Yep.
Yeah, then it's like, that's so funny.
Yeah, my mom's a nurse. You know, she was in the ER for like 20 years. So you know, it's like whenever we were sick as kids, it was always go to dad. Go to dad, because she's like, "You're fine. Go to school. What are you doing?"
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, she's like, "You're not bleeding. You're fine.
Exactly.
You're not bleeding." She's in the ER. You're not. Yeah, you're fine.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. So the dad was the one you'd go to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, "Dad," he's like, "All right, I'll call you." I was like, that's when, you know, you hope mom's not home then. And she's like, "All right, you're not really sick." But then when you were really sick, she would, you know, she's a great caretaker. But if you know, you try to pull a fast one on her, it wasn't happening. Happening.
Yeah, because she's gonna know how to diagnose you.
Exactly.
So she's not gonna be able to. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. I imagine that there's a level of convenience there. That's kind of me. Like, I'm single and I'd love to be like with somebody who knows, in the medical care field.
Yeah, no, and honestly, it's great. Like, even some of my buddies like, something weird's going on. I'm like, I just text my mom like, hey mom, I got a question for you.
Yeah, you have these weird spots here on his throat. Like,
exactly.
What is that? She's like, oh, that's strep. Tell him to go take this, get some vitamin C.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Last night at this little block party, like my dad, he thinks he tore his rotator cuff when he was golfing, and he's going in to see a guy in a couple of weeks. But one of my buddies, he's just about to finish up PA school, so he's going to be a physician's assistant, and he's big into like orthopedics and stuff.
Yeah,
just because he had like knee injuries in high school, so he just geeks out over it. And as soon as he gets there, Dad goes up to me, he's like, hey Caleb, all right, you gotta check out my shoulder for me. It's like, Ginger thinks it's my mom's. Ginger thinks it's a rotator cuff.
Yeah.
Check it out, and he's like having him do like all the tests and everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I can put my hand back here. He's like, Google told me I should be able to put my hand back here. He's like, no. He's like, that's a certain muscle. I don't think it was that one. And he's like, but yeah, you tore your rotator cuff for sure. You have to get an MRI, but you're pretty sure you tore it. It's funny. He's just middle of the street. He's just doing all the tests and everything. He's like, how's the pain here? How's the pain here? I'm just like, oh man.
I love that. That's great. And that really is, any doctor will tell you, the second you put on that lab coat and people know you're a doctor, they ask you for free medical advice.
Oh yeah, all the time.
All the time. That's just how it is. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I did. I watched like half the first season. I never finished it.
I gotcha. I love that show. Just reminds me of like one scene. He's like Larry David. He's like at his like country club. And he's got like a spot on his back, and he's like, oh, I gotta go get this checked out. And here's a doctor that was in the club. And he's like, I'll just ask him really quick. He's in the locker room, and he walks up to him. He's like, hey, can you mind checking this spot out on my back? And he's like, sorry, like I'm in a big rush. Like I gotta get out of here. Like I gotta get to work. He's like, hey, just take a look. Just take a quick look for me. He's like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm a writer. He's like, next time you're in a big hurry, have someone ask you to write a bunch of shit for you to see how you feel. And he's like, you just gotta look at it.
You just look at Yeah, that was one of the things I liked, or I saw like in the bit, that he was very much like, here's how you do the thing, and here's what's expected. So him, it wasn't a big deal. He felt like he wasn't in the wrong.
Exactly.
Right, but if you would have come up to him when he was at a club in a locker room and say, write a joke for me, he would feel.
No, it'd be the complete opposite. He'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, come on.
But he's like, but you're a doctor. You should just check me out. It's no big deal. It's like, no. Yeah, but the show was great. It very much follows the model of stand-up, setup, punchline. Like premise, setup, punch, and that's how the show was.
Most definitely.
Yeah, which is what I thought was so brilliant about it. And then the fact that it was so improvised. Yeah. I really just never sat and like, okay, I got to study it and watch it, just because it almost feels like homework when you're watching it now.
That makes sense. Yeah. That does make sense. I love Larry. I mean, he wrote Seinfeld. It's it's iconic show. So it's like, and you can tell some of the premises are kind of the same, but he finds like new ways to spin them and stuff, and it's just kind of what you said. It's like you could see the setup and you could see the punchline coming. It's just like comes like whenever it hits though. It's like it's always so funny.
Yes. Exactly.
And like it feels like there's a bunch of those like throughout the show, and then there's like one big one right at the end, and it's just like Larry's face. He's like, oh, and then it's like cuts to the credits, like boom, boom, boom. I love it.
And it is, and it's great. It's great format with Seinfeld. Costanza was based on Larry David. Once you see Larry David, you're like, oh, that character was exactly you. That's how you would be in these scenarios.
Most definitely.
Now I get it. Yeah, and then it was that Curb Your Enthusiasm, great cast, hilarious people, and again, it really is like, if you want to watch something to study how comedy is written, this is the formula, and
most
that's
definitely.
it.
I mean, what's the guy who plays George? What's his name?
Jason Alexander.
Yeah, I saw an interview with him, and he was talking about like when he first like was started on Seinfeld, and I think it was one of the episodes where it was like George, he quits his job on Friday, and he's like, I can't quit this job.
Yeah,
He's like, I think I'm just gonna show up on Monday and act like I didn't quit.
Yeah.
And like they were doing the table read and they run through everything, and he's just like, this is ridiculous. Like nobody would actually do this. Like, and then he goes up to Larry. He's like, Larry, no one's gonna believe this. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, I did this.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live. He's like, I did that. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? And Jason Alexander, he realizes, he's like, oh, like I'm just playing this guy's life.
Yes. Yeah, and that was really it. You were just being Larry David. Yeah. Yeah, and that's hilarious because, see, again, that's the type of guy he is. A lot of that Curb Your Enthusiasm stuff is his humor and stuff he would write, but then was just like how he would react in those scenarios.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like an outsized version of like himself, you know?
Exactly.
It's just like
Which is great. Which I guess Seinfeld, I mean, it was Jerry Seinfeld. He went by his name, so he got to be himself and be a character at the same time,
Absolutely.
which can be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite episodes of Curb are when Jerry's on there, and it's just like their chemistry is just so good. Like those two, they just light it up like every time. Like,
Absolutely.
it's just like, you know, Jerry's just like a more toned down version of Larry. It's just like he's a lot more reasonable.
Absolutely.
But like the way they banter back and forth, and kind of like you said, it's so funny because it's all improvised.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, I mean, man, it's just it's great.
It's super well done. Super well done. Have you watched that Getting in Car? Or no, yeah, Comedians.
I've seen a few of them. It's on Netflix, right? Like I think all of them are on there.
They're all on Netflix now, which is big. It did an extra season and then they ended it. But yeah, really great stuff. Really great stuff. And he had Larry David on it, and then Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jason Alexander, and they all went on it. So that was cool just to have those conversations and see.
Most definitely, yeah. And you get to see some cool cars too. It's awesome. It's an awesome show.
Yeah, I'm a gearhead, so it was a lot of fun.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. What's your favorite car?
Oh,
you had to
man,
pick one.
favorite car. That's a hard one. Only because it was my very first car, '69 Mustang.
That makes I get that. I get that. A little nostalgia factor to it.
Yeah, I had one up until May. I gave it to my little brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's still in the family. It needs a new engine, needs a ton of work. So I'm like, here, this is your problem now. I got kids, man. Here you go. But I've had everything. I've had Chevelle. I've had a Javelin. I've had Charger. I've had a Camaro.
Nice.
Yeah. So I grew up in California, so they're just all over the place in California.
Yeah.
They don't rust, so they just last forever. It's great.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I was in LA in my 20s, and like back then, you could get a used muscle car for $1,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I just got a ton of them. It was great, and then you fix them up, you drive them around, and then you sell them and make all your money back.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's funny because like, you know, my dad, it's kind of the same thing. Like every time I'm like driving the car, he's like, oh, I used to have one of those. I used to have one of those. It's kind of the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
Just buy an old shitty car, you fix it up, and that thing's yours. You just run it till the wheels fall off. Pretty much.
Exactly.
Which I feel like isn't much of a thing anymore as it used to be, but you know, maybe I'm just not very handy. Although that's something that, you know, I'd really like to do, just like be able to, like, you know, fix cars, you know.
Oh, sure.
Like, you know, it's a very valuable skill, and it's a cool hobby to boot. So
yeah, the basics are easy, and you can learn them on YouTube. Tires, spark plugs, oil. But like fuel injection, I can't. I don't know anything about it. Give me a carbureted engine, I'll work on it all day. But fuel injection, I have no idea.
I'll go to my guy for this. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to. And then now, like this thing, if a sensor goes bad on this, the sensor's bad. It's not even something wrong, but the sensor's bad. I don't know what to do with that. I can't figure that out. I have to take it to a place, and they run a scan, and they go, "Oh, you got a microchip that just got a little duff." Yeah. Here you go. Okay, cool. That'll be $400, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's crazy, like how much more, you know, just with all the computers and everything in them. You know, they're just. It's not the same as it used to be. Oh, you could just easily you know, you can just diagnose it, a time belt, something like that. Yeah. But it's like, you know, like you said, you got to get the right software to check everything and check all the error codes. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's just I can't do it nowadays. It's way too much. range.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not possible. That's why I get this thing. I'm just gonna run it into the ground and just get another Toyota because they last.
Yeah,
forever.
Toyotas are awesome. That's
Yeah.
Anyone that's looking for a car, just buy a Toyota.
Get a Toyota. Yeah.
Run that thing for 250,000 miles. Just take care of it, and we'll take care of you.
Exactly. All right. Looks like you're here, man.
All right. Well, it was
Yeah.
very nice chatting
Likewise,
with you.
yeah, this was great.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your
Hey,
night.
hey, thanks, you
and
too.
drive safe out there.
That's the plan. Thanks.